Hey everyone, I'm Simone, and I'm going to be in that chat box helping you today. So if there's any questions that I can help you with as we're navigating through everything, just let me know. We've got a couple people that will help you in the chat box here. And then again, I've just posted that fscheckin.classworks.com in the chat box. So go ahead and click on that and check yourself in. And we're getting ready to start now. Also, if there's anyone who I'm going to be looking out for anyone who's really engaged with us, interactive, and we will be giving away some swag bags. So I'll be looking out in the chat box and all of that as well. So I will pass it on over to Jordan.
Awesome. Thanks, Simone. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Jordan Ayers, and I am a curriculum instruction specialist, and I'm just really excited to be here with you all today in our first week of our 2020 Fall Virtual Summit. Today for our session, we are teaching using Classworks Tier 1 instruction, making virtual learning more engaging, ELA and reading focus. So we know high stakes tests will be here before we know it because 2020 has flown by. Increasing engagement with virtual learning, all while keeping instruction rigorous, is challenging, but it's the key to success right this year, and Classworks is that key. So we have rigorous instruction and engaging resources all built into one online comprehensive program. So what are our various benefits that we offer? It keeps instruction seamless, either at home or at school, right? Students don't miss a beat. If a student is quarantined at home or you all are transitioning back into the classroom, students are always receiving rigorous, high quality instruction, every single one of them. All of our Tier 1 instruction is standards aligned to your state standard, right? This helps to ensure that you and your teachers are able to prioritize those heavy weighted standards and staying aligned to your district's pacing guide, which we know sometimes can be tricky. It is also always preparing your students for that high stakes test that's always there at the end of the year, right? So if you start using our Tier 1 instruction now, there's no scrambling in the spring. You can also utilize our standards document for ELA and math, where you can identify which standard is being addressed in which reading passage. This is a perfect place to start planning and preparing for the end of year assessment, all while keeping up with your district's expected pace. And we'll talk more about that shortly. Speaking of high stakes testing, students need to begin building up stamina for long reading passages as soon as possible. Our reading content is designed to be structured as a close reading strategy, so students are building up stamina and will be better prepared for the end of year assessment. Close reading provides students with the skills needed to break down the text and find supporting evidence in a testing environment. Not only that, but whether your students are at home or at school or hybrid, your students are constantly interacting with the text and following the protocols to show what you know with text evidence. With Classworks, teachers are able to use evidence-based instruction to develop a better understanding of where each student is in their learning, so they can be provided with an opportunity to have targeted teaching and learning opportunities. With our various annotation tools, students are able to mimic what teachers have been teaching them with pen and paper, but do it electronically, such as highlight key details or unknown words. They can also add questions or explanations with sticky notes. And lastly, there's always access to our built-in instructional resources, in turn making it really easy for students to be able to provide evidence for their thinking. So our time together is 30 minutes this morning. So know that if you do want a refresher, we offer on-demand, self-paced professional learning videos. These are called our Smart Guide courses. And to access them, you're going to log into your Classworks district website. And on the right side, you'll see your name. It's a drop-down menu, and you see professional learning. For our professional learning videos, there are quite a few available. And of course, we encourage, looking at all of them, watching all of them. But today, definitely highlighting Transform Tier 1, Learning with Classroom Reading and Math. So what all does Classworks offer for integrated reading? So living under the instruction tab, we have integrated reading levels 1 through 8. Each grade level has 36 passages built in. Each passage is Lexile leveled. 60% of them are informational, and the other 40% offer a wide variety of genres such as fables, poems, dramas, etc. So how do our integrated reading passages lessons fit into your ELA toolbox? All of our ELA reading passages are structured as a closed reading strategy. The closed reading protocol asks students to carefully and purposely read and reread the text. We're not talking about the close reading, that strategy that once was. This approach ensures that students really understand what they've read, because we've asked them to carefully investigate a text in order to make connections, such as text to text, text to self, and text to world. So this is accomplished by how closed reading are structured. The same text is continually used throughout a week with multiple reads that focus on various chunks of the text to engage in specific standards. So the first read through is just to listen to the text. So you're doing the read aloud, and read aloud to the whole group, or whether this is on the classroom carpet or via communication tools such as Zoom. The next step is for students to reread silently or possibly in pairs to notice key words and get the overall structure of the passage or the main idea, just kind of get more familiar with the passage. The following day, you are all engaging with the text and focusing specifically on a standard. So this is where we're chunking out that text, right? So this may be context clues or character traits. There's two goals here. First, to actively investigate and learn the standard at hand. And the other is to build reading stamina and have students hone in on those specific details that teach us a deeper understanding of the standard, rather than looking at the whole text each time. Every ELA reading passage ends with higher order thinking, multiple choice questions, and the last question is extended response. Remember that these questions are perfect for curriculum embedded tasks and will mimic your end of year state assessment. All right, so how do you know which passage to work with? As mentioned earlier, it's our standards document. So you want to access our standards document at help.classworks.com. Again, that's help.classworks.com. If you haven't already, bookmark it. It is an amazing resource where it is our online knowledge bank, so you can access all different articles. Just search up here for standards document, and the top two articles that populate are for integrated reading and applied math. I really want to stress this is a great starting point for thinking through how you'll use our tier one instruction. All right, so here you can see all of our various documents available. I'm going to launch 6th grade. And what you'll see as soon as this loads. Okay, so what you see here are each passage. We see the genre first, the Lexile level right here, and then the title. Additionally, you see each question and the corresponding standard, right? So this is where you're looking if you're looking for the pacing guide, when you're aligning it with your pacing guide. Okay. So this is excellent to print and look at both, right? Your pacing guide and your standards document, and really think through what is your goal with this tier one instruction. And speaking of goals, when would you use our integrated reading? Well, really whenever you see fit. We've seen them work great as whole group and use this to teach all week long. I'm sorry, it's still early. I'm getting caught up on my words. And use this all week long. But this is often how we see our tier one instruction being utilized. No, though, there are quite a wide variety of other ways we've seen it. So I just really want to take a moment to share out some other creative ways we've seen our integrated reading passages used. So they work great for small group because of those Lexile levels. So you'd be able to group students by their reading levels and provide a corresponding appropriate passage for them. Or you could group your whole group by, or small group by standard and offer an opportunity for reteaching or engagement. We've also seen passages used to build background knowledge, since we have such a wide variety of content and topics. As I mentioned, we have 60% of them are informational. So that's also perfect for cross-curricular. It will identify if it's science or social studies aligned. And these passages work great for units of study, such as a unit on fables. And that's something that I know was a focus for 5th grade. And it's a unit that I worked with. So regardless of which way you decide to use them, remember to still model and guide students on how to read through to ensure they're getting the most out of the passage. Classworks has made it very easy for your students to actively engage with what you've been teaching them all year, your instructional best practices. The best practices that you preach are vital to your students' success, and Classworks makes sure that what you taught in the classroom can be done online. So use this in conjunction with the expectations you've already established. All right, so without further ado, let's launch a program. So here is science. We're going to launch this naming the clouds. Okay, so this is the teacher view, and we have some great points here I'd like to make. Down below are our teacher resources. So we do have a printable offline activity. So if that works easier for you, that is available. We also have a fluency passage practice. These are suggested for warm reads. And so where you can track the numbers here. We also have a grading rubric and a teacher resource page, which is really helpful if you have substitute teachers or classified teachers working. So I'm going to press start and it will launch the passage. All right, so what you see with this launch passage is continuing with that title. You then see the passage, an image, and even at the bottom are sources, right? And on the left side, we have various resources and tools available. So we have a dictionary where we're able to, students are able to look up words. We also have a highlighter in various colors, sticky notes, students can watch this question mark video and learn more of how to engage with these tools, and it can be read to them, right? So set the expectation for students to annotate, just as you would with pen and paper. So I used to have an anchor chart in my classroom that had the old style annotation notes on it. One suggestion here is to recreate an anchor chart with these tools, our Classworks tools, for students to guide them on what each color, highlighter color or sticky note represents. So I kind of thought through an idea based on this passage here. So kind of one idea is highlighting the main idea in yellow, supporting details in pink, unknown words or vocabulary words for the week in blue, and then green is for opinions. And then I also was thinking through maybe the idea of using the sticky notes for creating a higher order or creating a question to meet Bloom's higher order thinking, Bloom's taxonomy. So that's a great opportunity for just to reinforce, what you're teaching them. If you do make an anchor chart, feel free to send it to us. We would love to see that for those annotation notes. Another great resource are graphic organizers, so students can continue to organize their thoughts with this new passage. And additionally, you'll find that each passage has embedded standards, such as main idea and text structure, that should be taught and retaught all year long. We know that's a best practice. So you can even use these passages, right, for those, or to learn spelling words and have students highlight their spelling words or gather consonant blends on a sticky note. Really what I'm trying to stress here is just to get creative with Classworks, right? You already do such great things. You can mimic those teacher actions directly here by modeling and giving directions and setting expectations, but take ownership of it and make it work for you, and I promise your students will all love these tools and be very engaged as well. So once students have thoroughly deconstructed this passage, it's on to the questions. So down below, we have, you click next, and then this is where we launch our questions. The first six, there's about 6 or 7 questions for each passage. Those are all going to be multiple choice. So after a student launches the questions, you could also see they continue to have their annotation notes, so they can continue to identify text evidence or supporting details for their answer. And remember that these questions are the ones we saw on that pacing guide and mimic your end of year assessment. And the last one, this may be what you tell your students not to do. And the last question always going to be that extended response question. Students can type their answer or even draw their answer. Okay, so you can really rest assured that students are consistently engaging in a high quality, rigorous text. All right, I know you're excited about this great resource for Tier 1, so let's walk through how you assign and get your students actively learning. So Classworks has a pretty straightforward method for assigning, grading, and providing feedback for your lesson. You're going to go to your Classes tab. And here, you're going to check the box next to your class, and it will highlight that class. And as soon as I clicked it, you can see that the buttons down below became highlighted. We're going to click Assign. We're going to assign Instruction, and it's classroom instruction. Now you see all of our available passages and available for both reading, questions for reading, reading passages, questions for math, and or science. You can assign as many as you like. Here I'm gonna just click integrated reading. I'm gonna click next, and now you have the opportunity to assign to all students or selected students. All you have to do is just check the box next to their name to assign, and then I only assign to Tiara. And there it is. All right, so that was assigning. So like I said, very straightforward. Okay, so once you've assigned the lesson to your students, we'll want to monitor their progress. So launch your class by clicking on the blue hyperlink, and now you can see everything that has been assigned to your students. So here was the cloud one. So I pressed that plus sign, and now I can see every student in my class and get a little bit more information on them. I can see how many activities are remaining, their total time on task over here. So I'm going to click into Tiara to review. And over here again, naming clouds. And now I can see that she's working on this in progress. So this is a great place to be monitoring and able to correct any misunderstandings. Yellow is supposed to identify main idea. Here tells me that she has a little bit of confusion of what the main idea of the passage is. Right. And then you can also toggle here between next and previous student. So here's another student who has actually completed the passage. And I know she's completed it because up here we have our results are 67%, right? And she only spent 2 minutes on it. And I can see a clear understanding that she had a lot of struggles with unknown vocabulary words. And so I can assume, she probably got frustrated or she needs some assistance with this passage. So that's how I would do that. And then let's look at George. So then here's a student who followed was able to have a clear understanding of the passage and got an 83%. And you can also see specific, and then I'm going to click close. And then to grade, you're able to click this grade button and now provide score their extended response question. You even have a suggested response here on the right side, so you can, it can help you a rubric for grading. Okay, there's quite a bit of options. We have reports we will follow up with as well. So there's, that is some features with our grading, right? And so again, assigning these lessons and grading is covered in a tutorial at help.classworks.com. It will be a follow-up resource, and you can always, of course, go to intercom chat as well too if you have any questions about grading or assigning. So the last thing I want to show you is our student view. So I'm going to log in with this into a student and show you specifically how what they see when they log in. So this is a student who right when they log in, you have your dashboard. They're going to click begin an assignment. And down below, my class assignments. So these are all of my assigned passages here, and a student would click through here and launch. This is the only one assigned, and she just presses start. So, and goes right back to where it was bookmarked. All right. So we've covered how powerful these instructional lessons are and how you can assign them to either whole class or small group. Get creative with it. So just to recap our session today, Classworks keeps instruction seamless, no matter where you are. Our tier 1 instruction is standards aligned to assist with high stakes test prep and higher order thinking questions. As well, it's and encourage students to build reading stamina, and it's always going to be engaging with evidence-based instruction. So I see there's been quite a bit of chat, and I would love to hear your plans for how to put this information you learned today to work with your students. So if you all want to chat it out, that'd be great. You can also take a few moments to answer any questions that we had come through. So I'm just at the bottom of the chat. So the last question that came in, and you are not able to turn off the illustration feature. You can direct students to not go there, or you'll be able to see it. So you do have the awareness of if a student does continue to draw. Of course, it could be extra credit if they get done with their passage early, but you are not able to remove the task for illustration. And that's great. Fran, she's going to go through the PD and FAQ to learn more herself. And so, yeah, we are wrapping up. So definitely go to that Smart Guide course, and you can. Yes, ma'am.
Can you review the grading screen again? Somebody's asking that.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Log back in. So grading, it falls under Classes tab. You will click into your class's name. And then here you see all of your assignments. Today, we're focusing on our integrated reading level 6. You have all of your students here, and you click the review button. I want to click into the science. And then you can click specifically here. So it's jumping. You can also print. And then here, this is the best feature. So this is print this so that you can see specifically everything that a student answered. and got wrong. And it even gives us the rationale.
Jordan, there was a question also about embedding these in an LMS.
Yes, we sure do. So for Google Classroom, once you launch a reading passage, up in the right-hand corner is embed and share. Pretty straightforward. You can follow the pop-up screens to link to Google Classroom. If you use a program such as Schoology or Canvas, Brightspace, we work with your LMS. Those types of LMSs, you will have to use it as an external tool. So you'll upload an assignment, but link Classworks as an external tool. Just to clarify though, you can reach out via chat to ensure that that integration has been turned on. That would be my first recommendation if you're unsure of if Classworks is syncing with your LMS. That would be step one.
It's a good time to promote your LMS session too, right, Jordan?
Yes. So yes, we have a Google LMS session coming up on Monday morning. Really great, 8:30 as well. We're going to cover everything that we covered today, but a little bit more removed of the content, but all how to really build out a high quality lesson on your LMS. Hope to see you there. Any other questions that were in chat? I see Joanne helped answer quite a bit, which is awesome.
The only one that I saw that I don't know if we addressed was, is it possible to remove questions from the passage?
I don't believe we are able to do that. You can direct students though to, it's bookmarked. So if you don't want students to answer all the questions, you could have them just answer the questions you want, and then use that monitor feature and be able to monitor just the questions you want addressed.
And then, Joy, you're really digging in deep. You've had some awesome questions. There's one more, Jordan, having to do with grouping your students. And if you were grouping them by the standard they needed practice with, what would be the best way or a good way to go about that? And I think you've started to talk about it. I think Joy's actually got a great idea, doing stations and review the questions with different groups at different times.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the best way. And, since you're doing with stations, just try, I know it's just challenging, but make sure that you get to all the students that week, so it's fresh in their mind. I think that scheduling would be the biggest component of that, to ensure that you get to all your students during that week as they are working on the various passages. That's a really great
We've also seen in some of our partner districts where if they're going to use different Lexile leveled passages with their groups, they start that on Monday, and then by Friday the students in the group actually share out from their different passages the answers to the questions and kind of have discussions amongst the group. So they spread that one passage that they are using over the whole week and do some of the different questions throughout the week, and then use Friday as the time for students to kind of come back together and share some of the main ideas and things with their passages that they were assigned.
Just got another question from Sabrina about, is there assessment to determine students' reading level? If you have your students take our universal screener, we will identify the grade level readiness for your student by the PM level. So you could look up if a student is reading at 5th grade level, you can correspond the Lexile levels to the 5th grade. Any other suggestions with that?
No, I think that's right. Our universal screener, obviously it's a vertically scaled assessment, but it doesn't report out Lexile level. So I think exactly what you said.
Mm-hmm. But if you're using like MAP that does have a Lexile on one of their reports, you can definitely use that in conjunction.
Think Star as well reports that out, and maybe Ames Web does as well, and which we integrate with all of those assessments.
So does anyone have any ideas or creative ways that you're envisioning how our instruction will be used in your classroom? Joy already kind of touched upon one, which is great. Stephanie is going to use them with her EIP learners. Great. Oh, yay. Brand's very excited. I'm excited that you're excited. She's going to be using them with her SPED classes. Yeah, I really can't stress that enough. Really get creative. You can really think. I've seen them be used if a student struggling in their individualized learning plan, using this as an opportunity for further engagement with that skill. You can just really make this. There's just so many resources at your fingertips. So use them definitely wherever you see fit. Yes. For virtual teachers, absolutely. And students in the classroom can continue to work on that as well as for your virtual teachers. Was Stephanie's question about kindergarten learners with number and letter recognition? Any suggestions? So we do, our reading passages are, let me get to that. I do have some ideas for you. So our lowest level is level 1, but again, if you find the lowest reading passage here, let's look at fruits and vegetables. You could have, your students highlight words and letters for the week. I think that may be the best way. Or words that have long E sounds. So you could kind of get more creative with using phonics and vocabulary with it rather than content. And especially with the closed reading strategy, if you've been reading to them and they have that, I definitely would encourage that to be a warm read for kindergarten. But I think that's probably the best way. Of course, I'd love to hear if my coworkers have any other suggestions.
I would say that's a good way to start. And part of the reason that the first grade level is the first level for the passages is because we use the Lexile for setting them into grade level bands. And with kindergartners, any Lexile that is below that 100 is a BR, so it's a bit of a challenge. But I've seen teachers use these for whole group reads. There's a great one in first grade all about cleaning your hands, which is a very timely topic right now. And, going through and highlighting letters that say the same sound, since they will be read out loud to them. They have that fluency support. That's one way I've seen it work really well, even with pre-K teachers right now, just doing some small group work, but definitely right on.
That was a great question. Thanks, Joanne. And then we also have some great different various ways that it will be utilized in the chat. There we go. Yes, and definitely be on the lookout for other sessions the rest of this week. And next week, we're going to continue to put out content. And Joanne is presenting on Tier 1 math later today. So if you're able to join, then it is.
Hope to see you all there, or have your colleague join if you're departmentalized.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yes. Another plug for our SPED session on this upcoming Wednesday. That will be a great RTI focused session.
The math session will be today for Joy is 2:30 Eastern, right, Joanne? And Joanne will be delivering that this afternoon.
Yep, I will, and I hope to see you there. Yep, 1:30 in Arkansas. Yes, Fran.
Yes. And if anybody has any questions about the different sessions, since we are doing sessions all the way throughout next Thursday, 2 sessions per day, please go to classworks.com. That's our homepage, and you'll see an announcement right in the middle of the page about Fall Summit, and you click there and you'll get all the session registration times and information. Or you can just chat with us right on classworks.com or within Classworks, and we can give you the information on the upcoming sessions. Thank you, everybody, for joining today.
Thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. And one last thing before we go.
Yes, we are kicking off our All-Star contest. So the top 500 students with the highest time on task are going to win. So I want you to make sure to head on over to classworks.com/contest for more information, and I will pop that in the chat really quickly for you.
Get students excited about our t-shirt contest. So students can draw t-shirt contests and submit them. And so that's a really great to get students started thinking about that now. All right, well, thank you all so much and have a great day. We'll hopefully see you later.